Arkansas. Music provided by Eric Myers. Please remember to like our Facebook page, Spirit of the Outdoors.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting live from the Cherokee Casino Mobile Studios.
He's going to the house. Rakeem Boyd for a touchdown.
Welcome to Arkansas Game Day.
Into the end zone. Arkansas wins. The Razorbacks win.
Presented by Randall Ford and Bud Light, an official title sponsor of the Razorbacks.
Arkansas Game Day is on the air. Brought to you by Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs, and also our friends at Randall Ford. And it is an early one, so hope you have got yourself a nice hot cup of coffee and the paper all rolled up, ready to go, as long as they're still printing the paper. We're getting you set for Arkansas, Texas A&M, the Southwest Classic. Over there at AT&T Stadium. Arkansas and A&M been playing there now since 2010, and actually since 2009. And the Razorbacks looking to end a 7-game losing streak to the Aggies. Phil Elson here, my friend back in the ESPN Arkansas studios, Ty Richardson. Brenton on the phones. If anybody is awake today to get with us, you can do so. And get with us on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Good for a call or a text at 877-377-6963. We are live on ESPN Arkansas affiliates, 96.3 Hot Springs, Mena, 104.3 in Harrison, 95.3 in the River Valley, and also our friends at 99.5 in Springdale. So perhaps you are already on your way to the DFW Metroplex for the one neutral site game of the year for Arkansas. And, boy, still trying to pick up the pieces after last week's loss to San Jose State. You can't help but look. This last night, San Jose State couldn't keep their momentum moving as they got crushed by Air Force 41-24 in their Mountain West opener. So maybe a little bit of a fluke last week as far as San Jose State was concerned. But that was, Ty, that's the last easy games, quote unquote easy game for Arkansas in a long, long time. Now staring at a bunch of SEC games in a row. Of course, you got a bye week next week before you go on the road to take on Kentucky in Lexington. And this is definitely the toughest game of the season for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now you see both teams are 2-2, but that's pretty much where the similarities end, as Texas A&M's 2 losses have come against 2 of the best teams in the nation, one of them potentially the best. In fact, they are the best team in the nation going by the polls, the Clemson Tigers, who beat Texas A&M 24-10 back on the 7th of September. And then last week, in a highly anticipated matchup in College Station, Auburn takes down Texas A&M 28-20. The 2 Arkansas losses, yes, one of them in the SEC against Ole Miss, 31-17. That was about the exact same time that the Aggies were losing to Clemson, and then we knew about last week against San Jose State. So what changes, Ty, coming into this game today, and who can play better from last week? And I think the answer really would be everybody. Everybody can play better for Arkansas after potentially one of the worst losses in school history last week to San Jose State.
Phil, I got a text early here on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Emery and Fayetteville says y'all are up and at it early. Hopefully we can get it, hang on this morning. And I think that since we're up this early on a Saturday, Phil, that's the least the Arkansas football team could do. Man, I think you just want to see a competitive game today, right? No one thinks Arkansas is going to win on either side of the fan base. Like whether you're a Texas A&M fan, Razorback fan, either media member, I would be shocked to see an actual prediction that was made coherently, sober, that had Arkansas winning, and someone that truly believed that. Now, we had a couple of them yesterday, but I'm curious to see if those guys or gals that texted in yesterday actually believed that Arkansas was going to win, or some just say it. But this is a weird game. This is a weird series. A&M's had more talent than Arkansas every single year since 2012, and yet, outside of that one 2012 game in College Station, these games have been close. And I guess 2016 they pulled away in the fourth quarter, but that was a close football game in the third. So it's been a weird series. Arkansas's found a number of different ways to lose it. Hopefully, they'll just make it competitive today. Because if you make it competitive, it doesn't necessarily completely take all the load off Chad Morris's back. But I think fans are a little more satisfied, especially after the pathetic loss to San Jose State last week. Who, Phil, you were telling me before the show, who'd they lose to last night?
Yeah, Air Force. Got run over by Air Force. And Josh Love, who looked like Brett Favre against Arkansas, could not eclipse 199 yards passing. He was 19 of 35 while Air Force ground him up to the tune of almost 400 yards on the ground. So, man, I mean, that's the San Jose State I think that we expected to see last week against Arkansas. Of course, the Hogs couldn't stop them in the first half from scoring, and if you can't stop San Jose State generate any sort of a pass rush against a team that had trouble keeping their quarterback upright in previous games, what can you do against Texas A&M? I mean, the Aggies have definitely had their issues offensively. I think against some of the better defensive teams, had a lot of trouble running the ball last week against the Auburn Tigers. Kellen Mond has had an up and down season already. He's talented, doesn't make the best decisions, but if you're Arkansas and you couldn't force Josh Love into some bad throws and making mistakes, how are you going to do the same against not just Kellen Mond but anybody else in the SEC, any of the other teams that you're facing? That every last one of them in this conference should be better than San Jose State in every facet of the game. So potentially you're hoping that last week was more of an anomaly and that Arkansas played their worst game of the season from the top all the way down. And it starts at quarterback, doesn't it? There's no way that Nick Starkel has another game where he throws 5 interceptions and honestly could have had another 2 or 3 picked off just based upon where he'd thrown the ball. It's got to get better from that point. If we're going to take the conversation from the week after a victory against Colorado State in which Starkel was the key that turned the engine, and then last week the engine barely turned over, a lot of it because of Starkel's inability to make some good throws and some smart decisions. What's to say that if he's able to make better decisions this time around against Texas A&M, that you don't get a better performance from the top down? We'll say sometime, who's the most important player on the field? It's the quarterback. And although he's not playing defense, sometimes he sets the tone for the entire club. That was the case last week for Nick Starkel. Maybe it can be a positive way in a turnaround 1 week later.
Phil, you mentioned the opponent's quarterbacks that Arkansas will be facing down the road. First, you get Kellen Mond this week, and today against Texas A&M. You get a bye week. Sawyer Smith at Kentucky. The following week, Bo Nix, true freshman, comes to Fayetteville. He's looked pretty good. He's got a monster game today at home against Mississippi State. And then Tua in Tuscaloosa. Then you're going to face either Garrett Schrader or Tommy Stevens in Fayetteville against Mississippi State. Then potentially Ty Story at home in Fayetteville. Bye week, Joe Burrow, who's been playing out of his mind. We'll see how he plays in that Alabama game coming up. And then Kelly Bryant in Missouri. So it's not like the quarterback competition outside of when you play Western Kentucky goes down a dramatic impact. And Ty Story, if he starts in that game, he's going to be highly motivated. So the level's really not going to drop off that much, I don't think. So the quarterback competition that you go up against these next few weeks and really the entirety of the season is not slowing down. It's pretty level the rest of the way, if not picking up a little steam. That should worry you if you're Arkansas. And if Nick Starkel has anything remotely close to what he did last week against San Jose State, you can forget about this season. He has to be equal to, if not better than, every other quarterback they play the rest of the way. Because if you look at the other position groups, Phil, who are you going to point to that Arkansas has a better spot in then? You could say maybe Connor Limpert. Outside of that, I mean, Sam Loy had a decent game last week. Maybe he fixed it up a little bit. A special teams unit, I know a lot of times can be the difference in a football game, But it's not. You can't just rely on special teams to win you football games, Phil. Not at all. You got to pick it up in a number of different ways. And unfortunately for Nick Starkel and Joe Crack and his offense, there's going to be a ton of pressure on the quarterback position, more so than a lot of other teams face because of the gaps in talent and the depth everywhere else. So he's going to have to fuel every single bit of the fire that was busted upon him this past weekend when he had an horrendous game at San Jose State. Use that as motivation and just have a heck of the season the rest of the way. Or Arkansas, quite honestly, Phil, they don't stand a chance in the rest of these games. They might be okay in some of them, but when they face off against some of these higher SEC opponents, it's done unless Nick Starkel plays really, really well.
Yeah, really. The only other game that you look at that you think you maybe have a chance, maybe could be Kentucky, but that's on the road, and going on the road for Arkansas right now looks like it could be a tall order if you can't handle the Mountain West at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So, Ty, you mentioned the special teams, and maybe that's an area where Arkansas's got an edge. It's not in punting, that's for sure, because Braden Mann, the Aggies punter, is one of the best in the country, averaging over 48 yards per punt. He has kicked 8 50-yarders. That's out of 16 punts. So half of his punts have gone more than 50 yards. Meanwhile, Sam Loy has 3 50-yard punts on 17 tries and averaging 38. So it's not punting. Connor Limpert, 6-7 from the on field goal attempts, including that 54-yarder. Seth Small, the kicker for Texas A&M, is 7 for 9, and his longest is 33. So I would say that the only area right now that Arkansas's got the edge would be in field goal kicking, which, remember, on our show yesterday there was, I forget who it was that texted in with a highly optimistic prediction of a Razorback win with a game-ending field goal by Connor Limpert to cinch it. So if it comes down to the end and it's Connor Limpert lining it up, I'd feel pretty good about it by then, but I wonder if that's what it's going to come to at the end.
And, Phil, if you look back at this series, field goal misses and makes have been so crucial these last few years. So at least if you're that close, because, again, the pressure's only going to mount on A&M if it's a close ball game. We keep going back to that. I know Arkansas has lost 7 straight, but I honestly, truly believe that if this game is tight in the fourth quarter, that's going to put more pressure on Texas A&M than it will Arkansas based on what their expectations are this season and how much little wiggle room they have left. Because right now, you look at their schedule, it's looking like 7-5. Georgia, LSU, Alabama still remaining. That's looking like a 7-5 football team. Now, we know in the SEC that's not always the case, but I think you have a lot more confidence than you do in years past than when Cole Hedlund or John Henson or some of the other guys were kicking field goals for you than if Connor Limpert was given a chance with 2 minutes to put your team up 10 and really end the game and put it out of reach. I think if it's a 48 or even a 50-something yard field goal, you have a lot more confidence. Will it get to that point? I don't think so. I think a lot of people listening right now don't think so, but at least you can put it out there that you have confidence in your kicker when it comes to a tight ball game, because in years past, you haven't had that, and that's going to be crucial in this series like it has been every single time. You hope it plays out like that today, Phil.
It's interesting to think about the meaning level of this game for each of the programs, what it can mean. And you just laid it out, Texas A&M's schedule, and we've known it coming in. Although Arkansas right now, according to ESPN Football Power Index, they've got Arkansas's remaining schedule listed as the most difficult schedule remaining this season. Mm-hmm. But Texas A&M's schedule was the toughest from start to finish. Of course, they've already faced a couple of the top 10 teams in Auburn and Clemson, and Arkansas has yet to face a top 10 team, though they've got a bunch of them lined up over the next couple of months. For Arkansas, really, you got a lot of fans and people that are just hoping to keep it close. That if Arkansas keeps it within, a single score or maybe even covers, that it's looked at as a positive game. So you have a lot of people who are close to the program as fans or media members that are kind of geared up for for one of those dreaded moral victories where somebody can point it and say, look, we're going in a better direction than we were the year before. So a moral victory for Arkansas would still be a loss. If you're Texas A&M and you've got this ridiculous schedule and you have an upgrade at a few positions and you've got a $75 million coach on a 10-year contract who's come in with a national title at a previous program, there has got to be a ton of pressure on Texas A&M in this game today to win and to do it convincingly. Because although they've got a bye week as well, just like Arkansas does next week, look who's awaiting the Aggies once they come off the bye week. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide, and things will only get a lot tougher. So who knows? Maybe Texas A&M comes out just a little bit tight with what I would assume would be heavy expectations for a blowout against Arkansas, which is flip-flopped from what we thought would happen last week for Arkansas against San Jose State. And, yes, who came out flat last week? It was Arkansas, not the Spartans.
And, Phil, I know we're coming up on a break, but how much better would Arkansas fans feel about this game? Maybe it's not a huge difference, but if the Alabama game for Texas A&M was the following week instead of a bye week, because can you imagine how much you think they would overlook Arkansas this week? I think it would be huge, but unfortunately they do have the bye, and I know that you've heard from different Texas A&M personalities, media people, that they're not highly motivated why they played this game, which is probably why the score's been so close these past couple of years. Maybe that same occurrence will happen again this year, and then somehow, some way, some luck will hit Arkansas' side, and like that caller mentioned yesterday, that you'll have a Connor Lippert game-winning field goal or something, because in this series, Phil, I've told you, man, you just can't get anything to go your way. The skipper trip, the John Henson miss, the different fumbles near the goal line, the fact that you couldn't punch in the end zone. I mean, there are so many occurrences since 2014 when you've been playing this game once again in Jerry World, when you started that losing streak in Dallas Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, that you just can't get anything to go your way. Maybe that'll change today, but I don't think many people predicted that.
The Cherokee Casino hotline is open for a call or a text. It's 877-377-6963 to get with us on Arkansas Game Day. Brought to you by Randall Ford and by Cherokee Casino and Hotel, where every Saturday in September you'll join Cherokee Casino and Hotel Roland for a $68,000 Vegas night. You'll join them starting at 6 for your chance to win $10,000 every half hour, with a chance to win $10,000 at 10 p.m. We'll come back with more on Arkansas Game Day. Stay tuned right after this.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri.
You could be one roll away from $1 million. Head to Cherokee Casino and Hotel West Siloam Springs to play $1 million High Roller. Each Saturday in September, we'll draw 2 names every hour from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. to toss 5 dice and win up to $1 million. That's 12 chances each Saturday to win $1 million. Earn entry September 1st to the 28th for your chance to become a millionaire. Only at Cherokee Casino and Hotel West Siloam Springs, U.S. Highway 412 and 59. The experience you deserve. See One Star Rewards Club for full rules and details. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Are you ready to experience that new car smell? At Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma, we are excited to put you in the driver's seat. Allow us to demonstrate our commitment to our exceptional customer service. Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sales staff is here to answer your questions related to our inventory, service, parts, financing, and more. See us at 1100 East Main Street or give us a call, 888-893-3130. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Looking for a new home course this golf season? Eagle Crest Golf Course has memberships as low as $83 a month for Zoysia fairways and bent grass greens. Is your whole golf group ready to join Eagle Crest? 4 new members can join for just $1,150 each for the entire year. Individual annual memberships are just $1,250 a year. Call Eagle Crest Golf Course right now for all the details. 632-8857. That's 632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma. If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy, no matter the day of the week or time of the day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks, plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
What's wrong, dear?
I'm tire shopping, and nobody knows anything about tires.
Jody'sAuto.com sells tires.
Where we get our vehicles fixed?
And oil changes and maintenance.
What kind of tires do they sell?
Everything, all major brands. But it's the people.
Well, they've always been great with my truck.
And that's exactly how they are with tires. They know their stuff and can get you great tires at the best prices. Price match guarantee. You can see all the tires on their website, Jody'sAuto.com. Free flat repair and free road hazard.
And how do you know all this?
Because women understand 2 things a whole lot better than men: convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com can do everything to my car. One stop, including tires, and I trust them.
That's it, convenience and trust. Best of the best trust. Jody'sAuto.com, 3 locations, 3 oil change specials, one stop for tires, service, repairs, maintenance, towing, and fleets. Since 1984, convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Just as the ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com Twitter feed says, grab your mimosas, grab your screwdrivers, or grab your highly caffeinated drink, whatever you need to do to get up early today for an 11 o'clock kick at AT&T Stadium, a.k.a. Jerry World, Arkansas, Texas A&M on the SEC Network. And, of course, you'll hear the IMG Learfield pregame show starting at 8 o'clock. Leading right up to kickoff right here on all of these affiliates who you're tuned into. 99.5 out of Springdale, 95.3 River Valley, 104.3 in Harrison, and 96.3 in Hot Springs. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson, get with us on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963, brought to you today by Cherokee Casino and Hotel and by Randall Ford. So, Ty, you really went there with the pre-show tweet. You went there with the Herb Brooks. You went there with Miracle, with one of the more famous underdog stories in sports history to get us ready for this show today. So, I guess your point is made. You know, you're going to need a miracle for Arkansas to pick up a victory against Texas A&M today. And all things have to go. All things have to go well. Really, I mean, you got to imagine. I know that Jimbo Fisher and his team said all the right things. Jimbo quoted as saying that Arkansas is a great team with great players. This is word for word. He said he was surprised to see a 23.5 point spread. Of course, I'm sure he's not like monitoring the spread, which rose as the week went on, as the money went further towards Texas A&M. Your laugh said it all.
Well, I think it just shows the level of respect that coaches have for one another, and I think that even though that Arkansas has nothing on A&M when they step on the football field, it's the respect Jimbo has for Chad Morris and the other coaches in the profession. That's what it comes down to, Phil.
Maybe it's also a reminder of that these teams were pretty badly separated in terms of talent last year, and yet it came down to a 7-point ball game. And Texas A&M returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown to start last year's game, and got off to a huge start. But the Hogs were able to keep them within earshot, and even had a chance at the end with the ball inside their own 10-yard line when Ty Story throws that interception down the right sideline. So I mean that was Arkansas last year was not a team that really should have been close with Texas A&M, but yet there they were at the end, and so maybe that's the case again today.
Do we want to play that video just for
what you want to get some Herb Brooks on there right now?
I got it pulled up. You want to do it?
Why not? I mean, this is the sort of thing that can get that can fire somebody up. It fired up an entire hockey team that had no business being on the same ice as the Red Army. So go for it. Let's have Arkansas be the USA, and we'll have Texas A&M be the USSR, and you can be Herb Brooks. Go for it, Ty.
One game. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9. But not this game. This is your time.
This is your time.
Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Four-man rush. Allen. He will take a shot into double coverage, and he's got a walk-in touchdown to Jonathan Nance. Here comes the blitz again. Story takes a shot, fires one up the seam. He's got a touchdown. This time, Michael.
You know what's crazy about the majority of those highlights, Phil, is after those specific moments, with if you look at them, most of them are the best highlight from 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. Me and so many others genuinely thought Arkansas would go on to win the game after that. The 2015 field goal at the end of regulation, that was like a 37-yard chip shot for the Aggies. When they missed it, you heard Nessler say, wide right. Gosh, he's so good at that, man. So good at that. And I genuinely thought at that point in time that Arkansas was going to win. What do? They get stuffed on an out route on, I think, 4th and 4. Allen tries to get it to Drew Morgan and gets stopped. I mean, they're just the ups and downs, and the majority of downs in this series for Arkansas fans has been incredible. And it's not too familiar. I mean, it's all too familiar, from what A&M suffered from 2009 to 2011, when Arkansas almost did the exact same thing to them, beat them in excruciating ways. Now, 2010, they kind of opened it up a little bit, but 2009 and 2011, Aggies had, or if not, were very close to winning both those football games, and Arkansas just pulled the rug right out from under them. And Texas A&M, they've done the same thing every single year since 2014.
Well, we want your reactions today. What do you think is going to happen? What would you like to see happen? Are you realistic? Are you dreaming for a win? What do you think? 877-377-6963 is the number to get with us on a call or a text. That's the Cherokee Casino hotline. Foghat's going to be inside 7 at Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs, tonight, starting at 9 p.m., so plenty of time to watch the game. Head over to Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs, and see Foghat, which I'm going to guarantee you have no idea who Foghat is, Ty.
I don't. And unfortunately for John and Tommy, they will not be partaking in the mimosas and the screwdrivers and stuff, but they do get to be at Randall Ford later today. John's going to be over there. That'll start about an hour and a half after the IMG pregame. So they got the postgame. So they got hog reaction. This is only the second time this season that we've done Arkansas Game Day, and it's kind of flip-flopped a little bit, Phil.
That's right, and the sun is starting to rise, so thank goodness. By the way, you're a fan of the movie Dazed and Confused.
Big fan.
So Foghat's Slow Ride is in Dazed and Confused. So I'm going to guarantee it's a song you've heard before. Go look it up during the break. Foghat playing tonight at Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs. It's a slow ride to turn things around at Arkansas football, and that's a good way to go into the break. We'll come back with more Arkansas Game Day right after this.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hi, I'm Hector here from La Huertas. We like everything hot. La Huertas, we're fresh, authentic Mexican food served every day. La Huertas has 4 locations in the Fort Smith area with daily happy hours and a margarita night. Check it out. We're open 7 days a week with draft beer specials. Monday and Thursday night football. We are Fort Smith Authentic Mexican Restaurant. Yes, sir, we are. Fresh, homemade flour tortillas.
La Huertas.
At Rogers and Garrison location. Eat until you hurt. In Fort Smith, La Huertas.
Tire. Yes, tires.
Jodys, tire.
No, it's jodysauto.com.
I thought you said they sold tires.
Yes, Jody sells tires. The best brands at the best prices.
Doesn't say tire in their name.
Doesn't say they do brakes and alignments and oil changes either.
So, jodysauto.com sells tires.
Price match guarantee.
So let's see what they have.
Okay, go to jodysauto.com and click on Shop for Tires and get a quote. You can even get financing.
Free flat repair?
And free road hazard.
Wow.
Best tire brands and prices, sure, but these folks know tires. And Jody'sAuto.com has a lot more to offer. 3 locations and one-stop service. Total convenience. One stop for oil changes, repairs, maintenance, tires, towing, and fleets. Voted best of the best because they take care of their customers. Since 1984, convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com.
Does this sound like you?
Or is this more like it?
Or maybe your inner biker sounds like...
No matter what motorcycle motor is music to your ears, Shelter Insurance has a policy that's music to your wallet.
Shelter insures your fun stuff. Motorcycles to riding mowers, ATVs to RVs, bikes to bass boats. If it rides, rolls, or floats, we can cover it. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Marsha Cox or Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint Unlimited and enjoy a great wireless plan at an amazing price. For a limited time, make the switch to Sprint and get your 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines free. That means 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line. That's a savings of more than $1,000 your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Hurry to a Sprint store, visit sprint.com/unlimited, or call 800-SPRINT-1. Make the switch to Sprint today and get your 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines free. That's 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line from Sprint, a network built for unlimited. This is a limited time offer, so act now.
After 1/31/2020, pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines of unlimited basic with autopay. Savings compared to Verizon Go Unlimited and AT&T Unlimited and more for 5 lines. Features differ. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Welcome back inside our Cherokee Casino studios. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson getting you set for Arkansas versus Texas A&M Southwest Classic at Jerry World. And a lot of people thinking that this thing may be coming to an end over the next couple of years when the contract does end, and maybe you'll see a return to campus games. I'm actually one of the people that thinks that might be a good thing, Ty, and I disagreed with that last week on our show. Our Cherokee Casino hotline is open for you. Calls and texts starting to come in. 877-377-6963. First man up on the air today, JR in Marshall. Hey, JR, you're on Arkansas Game Day.
Morning, Phil. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Doing good. Had to go pick up some wood this morning. Started to give a prediction for today.
All right. Well, what do you think? I picked 35-17 Texas A&M yesterday. What's your pick?
63-9 Texas A&M.
Wow, you're going double. You're going double what I've got. What are you thinking? Obviously you're thinking Arkansas struggles badly.
I just, I can't put my hands around it with this team right now. I just don't I'm having a hard time comprehending the idea of what happened last week with just the lack of effort on both sides of the ball. After halftime, I mean, they seem to come out and want to try to win, try to make it more competitive. But, these kids right now they don't have that hunger and desire right now. And these teams that we're going to be playing from here on out, I mean, they smell blood in the water. Nothing short of a miracle. Coach Morris is going to have to pull something out of his hat to get these guys motivated. There's not that much talent that separates. And I know this is year 2 of his recruiting, but he is going to have to get those guys motivated to come out and compete. And until that happens, the onslaught will happen. I mean, that's just the way it goes in the SEC.
Hey, JR, I disagree with you a little bit, bud. They had the number 3 recruiting classes last year, and if you look at Kevin Sumlin's classes, he typically was around the top 10. Jimbo's going to be in there the rest of the way. I mean, there is a huge talent gap, man. I mean, you could debate the coaching, and I think Jimbo's got him too, based on what we've seen with Chad Morris as head coach. But yeah, there's a talent gap. There's a massive talent gap in recruiting.
There's a talent gap, and I agree with you completely, JR, on the motivation factor. I don't get it. I thought this is not a team that has the luxury of ever coming out flat against any opponent. But that's happened 2 or 3 times already this season. That's on coaching. Sometimes.
It's happened. It's happened. Every game. And you know what? Flip the script here on Texas A&M. They're sitting at 2-2, and I forget what they're paying him. Is it $8 million a year?
10 years. Right? 10 years. It's $75 million. It's about 7.5 a year.
Yeah. So I mean, he's in my opinion, he's not off the hot seat either. I mean, he's at that situation where they're paying him a massive amount of money. He's sitting at 2-2. You could say that, his situation, he may be on the line too, I don't know. I'm just having a hard time grasping, what's going on with the powers that be. it's hard to grasp that you cannot come out and get motivated. You're getting a scholarship to come up there to play, and you're getting an education out of the deal, and 100% effort on every play. I don't know. It's hard to grasp that. So.
Well, appreciate the phone call, JR. Thanks for dialing us up on the Cherokee Casino hotline. And I don't think that the hot seat gets turned up on Jimbo during the second year unless you lose a game like this. You get a pass, a little bit of a pass when you're facing, national championship contenders, 3 national title contenders on the Aggies schedule this year. They've already lost to Clemson. Who knows? Maybe Auburn's a national title contender. They're in the top 10. They got Georgia and Alabama later on in the season. So I mean, you remember going into this season, a lot of the talk about Texas A&M is, yes, the talent's there. It's a program that even has more talent than the year before. But with this ridiculous schedule, the ceiling was set at 8 wins for a team that probably has the sort of talent that for a normal schedule would be able to get to double-digit victories. So, I would think that there will be, and I think there are, pretty high expectations on the Aggies football team with the hiring of Jimbo Fisher, and the money speaks for itself. But I have a sense that there's a little more patience there unless the Aggies trip up in a game like this, a game that they should not lose, talent-wise and coaching-wise as well. I wouldn't expect they lose this one, but then again, I didn't expect Arkansas to lose to San Jose State.
W. and Wickles ask on the Cherokee Casino hotline, does Jimbo need this win more than Chad? I think absolutely. I think that's one of the easiest questions that we'll answer all week, Phil. This is, again, a lot more pressure on the Aggies and specifically on Jimbo Fisher to win this football game than there is Chad Morris. Now, if you look at the two teams and you say, well, there's a huge talent gap as well, there's a number of different things that Texas A&M has over Arkansas. But again, if this game somehow, some way gets close in the fourth quarter, it's not Chad Morris that's going to be sweating his butt off. He might be a little bit, but it's going to be Jimbo Fisher because, as you mentioned, Phil, yes, there is the expectation that the team is better and the schedule is tougher, so that won't translate to wins as much. But if you lose to Arkansas, you start the season 2-3. That means theoretically they could go 6-6 this year. That won't sit well with the fan base that's paying Jimbo Fisher $75 million. And we got to remind people, there is no buyout in his contract if he leaves. Now, there is one as he's fired, and I can't remember the exact numbers on that, but a crazy contract that the Texas A&M Aggies signed. Jimbo Fisher will not have to pay a cent if he decides to leave College Station. That's one of the craziest contracts. I don't even know if that's ever existed in the history of college football. It's incredible. I don't know why the Aggie boosters and the chancellor and ultimately whoever had them sign it and okay that contract allowed him to do it, because who knows, maybe in a couple years down the road or maybe closer than we think, Jimbo's gone and the Aggies are left out to dry, Phil, which I'm assuming Arkansas fans, they wouldn't be too broken up about.
It's not that Texas A&M's football program was in a bad situation under Kevin Sumlin. Certainly nowhere near the level that Arkansas had fallen to under Brett Bielema in that last year. Jimbo Fisher is hired to take Texas A&M to a higher level, to a place that I don't think they've ever been before, competing with Alabama, competing with LSU, and trying to get into the upper echelon of the toughest conference in college football in the SEC West. If you're Arkansas, I mean, you're trying to engineer a total turnaround from the bottom of the barrel in the SEC West, and right now just trying to scratch and claw your way to the middle. But after a loss to Ole Miss and what you saw last week, it does look like, unless things change dramatically, that Arkansas could end up at the bottom of the SEC West once again. Brought to you by Cherokee Casino and Hotel. Every Saturday in September, you could be one of 12 lucky people at Cherokee Casino and Hotel West Siloam Springs for the $1 million high roller. 2 names are drawn every hour starting at 5 until 10 p.m. If you're one of those names, you toss 5 dice for a chance to win $1 million at Cherokee Casino and Hotel West Siloam Springs. Your calls and texts on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. We'll have a look inside the quarterback matchup of Arkansas versus Texas A&M as Arkansas Game Day continues after this break.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bacon Fest is on at Wendy's. Wendy's sells the most bacon cheeseburgers in America, so we're celebrating with Bacon Fest and turning up the sizzle with the bacon double stack and the $5 Biggie Bag. Get ready for tons of hot and crispy bacon hits, like the $5 Biggie Bag featuring the bacon double stack, 4 nuggets, small fries, and a small drink for just $5. Only with Wendy's Bacon Fest. Based on servings among quick service restaurants over a 12-month period ending March 2019. Source the NPD Group Press. Price of participation may vary in Alaska and Hawaii.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Your number one Arkansas fan, Auto Owners Insurance and Kohler and Green Insurance is a winning combination. We will work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Call 484-9888. And Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 today or online at KohlerGreen.com.
Football season is here at Crabtree RV in Alma. We make tailgating with your favorite team very affordable with discounts up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels and $10,000 off new travel trailers. Check out deals like the new Catalina with patio for as low as $249 a month. Browse the area's largest indoor showroom and explore the new 2020 styles from Grand Design and Coachman Freedom Express. That's only at Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Oh, you're Paul. I'm the new Sprint intern.
Sprint plus...
Intern. Yeah, clever, right?
I was just...
Look at getting an amazing iPhone 8.
Yeah, because...
Now you can lease one iPhone 8, get the other one on Sprint.
And you get the best price for unlimited. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, now you're going to give your second phone to your new friend. Wow, Paul. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Get the best price for unlimited. And now get one iPhone 8 and give a second one on us. Or get iPhone 10 for only $30 a month. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
Requires 18-month leases for well-qualified customers. Early termination results in remaining balance due. Excludes tax credits applied within 2 bills. iPhone 8, 64GB, $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month credit. iPhone 10, 64GB, $30 a month after $11.67 a month credit. Unlimited after $131.19. Pay $38 per month per line with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming compared to unlimited HD plans for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage not for net everywhere subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.
Jody'sAuto.com sells tires, lots of tires, the best tire brands at the same prices as the Warehouse Club or Big Tire Chain Store. Price match guarantee. But at Jody'sAuto.com, it's the people. They know tires. They can help you find the best tire for your vehicle at a price you'll want to pay and financing. Free flat repair to everyone. Free road hazard when you buy 4 tires. Can't get that at the club or chain. But Jody'sAuto.com does way more. 3 oil change specials, 1 for every budget. 3 locations, 2 in Fort Smith, 1 in Van Buren. And they do everything, all services, all maintenance, all tires, even towing and fleets. One stop for everything, Jody'sAuto.com. Can't get any of that at the club or chain. Voted best of the best by the customers. Since 1984, one stop, convenience and trust, Jody'sAuto.com.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Back here on our affiliates for Arkansas Game Day, brought to you by Cherokee Casino and Hotel, Roland and West Siloam Springs, and Randall Ford, also Bud Light. We'll get you set with some of the big games across the SEC, top 25, also some final scores coming from yesterday once we get into the second hour of Game Day. We're going to take you right up to the start of the Learfield IMG pregame show at 8 o'clock on our affiliates. Kickoff at Jerry World is 11 o'clock. Once the IMG broadcast is done, Tommy Kraft and John Neighbors will be there to take all of your complaints or calls on Hog Reaction, as we got a couple of 2-2 teams facing off against each other. And Ty, of course, one of the big stories are the returning Aggies, former Aggies. Chad Morris didn't want to talk about his time at Texas A&M, and you can understand that as the head coach at Arkansas. But I would imagine, do you think he puts his ring away? They all get a ring, when they're done. Do you think he puts his ring away, his A&M ring, when you're coaching Arkansas the week of the Aggies game? You can't wear that thing on the side when you're coaching. But the focus more on Nick Starkel's return, more than Rakeem Boyd's return against Texas A&M too. And it's because you're playing at this position at quarterback, where how often do you see two quarterbacks that competed for the same job a year ago now facing off against each other the very next year? I mean, it could have been Nick Starkel playing against Arkansas at Jerry World last year. Turned out it was Kellen Mond instead. And a lot of publications, a lot of media members giving Texas A&M the edge in just about every single position on the field, and that does include quarterback. And you know who else puts Kellen Mond ahead of Nick Starkel? Jimbo Fisher did that, and that's why Nick Starkel is an Arkansas Razorback. I'm not sure if there's that much of a step up, though, from Nick Starkel to Kellen Mond. And I think if Starkel makes better decisions, he can end up having himself a pretty good game.
Well, based on everything we've heard, we've talked with Gabe Bach, Billy Lucci, and a couple other Texas A&M people. That competition was so close before Kellen Mond ultimately went out. And so, again, this is going to be a highly emotional game for Nick Starkel, and I think Jimbo Fisher knows that. Chad Morris knows that. And I think we haven't really talked about this yet this week, Phil. How motivated is he from that perspective that the fact this coach decided this guy was better? I'm going to prove him wrong. Like, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity, not only because Nick Starkel had the worst game of his football career this past week, but the fact that the guy that passed him up is on the other sidelines across from him. And again, I know there's a lot of non-expectations for this Arkansas football team that no one thinks they stand a chance for in this football game. Starkel's got nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain out of this matchup and nothing to lose. I mean, there are so many motivational factors that you can look to that if he could harness, if he could possess, if he could latch on to him, man, you hopefully it could propel him to a win in a successful game. Again, I don't know if that's going to happen based on that defense, but if I'm Nick Starkel, I'm using every bit of that motivation, looking at a guy straight across the face, across the sidelines, Phil, directly in the eyes, and thinking to myself, man, this guy started this dude. I'm going to show him he was 100% wrong, Phil.
Now, one area where the two are quite different is mobility, and I don't know if I'd say that Starkel stone-footed. If he's got lead in his shoes, I don't think that's the case. But Kellen Mond is a guy that can get away from pressure, and they'll have some designed runs for him. Now, last year, Texas A&M was all about running Travion Williams to the tune of 153 yards on the ground on 29 carries, and he dominated with a couple of touchdowns. But Mond also ran 11 times for 32 yards. He's not running quite as much as he did last year. His completion percentage is up by 7 percentage points, so it looks like he's got a little bit better throwing the ball, and he's tough to bring down. Keep in mind that the Aggies have played against two really stout defenses in Auburn and in Clemson, and Mond's only been sacked 6 times. So it's going to be tough to get to him. And Arkansas generated pretty much 0 pass rush last week against San Jose State. And you wondered where were the blitzes? Where were the safety blitzes that we'd seen dialed up the first 2 weeks from John Chavis, who now is going to be coaching the game up in the press box, way up above everybody else, up there near the roof of Jerry World. Maybe he'll get a better eye on some things to call, because this is not a defense that can play vanilla like last week.
Phil, you never root for injuries, but one of the injuries that's going to affect this football game is Joshua Corbin, who, if those don't remember, took the opening kickoff to the house last year. He's out for the season with a hamstring injury. This is a team that only managed 56 rushing yards against Auburn last week. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to be able to completely hold them down like that, but maybe something similar, because they're going to need to stonewall them at the rushing attack, Phil.
We want your reactions. What do you think's coming on throughout this game today? 877-377-6963. Stay tuned. Second hour of Game Day coming up after this break.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser. That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time for some straight talk. The big wireless companies charge a boatload for their superior network coverage. But guess what? Straight Talk uses the same cell towers but charges a lot less. Who knew? Well, now you do. And I do. So let's do something. It's time to switch to Straight Talk. Unlimited plans start as low as $35 a month on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. Only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. A month equals 30 days. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Shelter Insurance, we know landlords have to keep up with their renters, even if they're related.
Mom, Dad, what a surprise! We just dropped by to pick up your
rent check.
Oh, I'm running a little short this month.
Not everything works as smoothly as Shelter's renter's policy. It helps cover stuff in case of fire, theft, and more.
Maybe I should just move back home. Don't you love me? Oh, of course.
But now your room's Dad's man cave.
Oh, man.
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Or call me, Jim Malum in Charleston.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for more information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Rediscover old world cuisine, charm, and a romantic atmosphere at Wiedeker Weinkeller Restaurant. Wiedeker's is the perfect treat for any occasion, whether it's close friends, family, or a perfect night with your special someone. Enjoy unique Swiss, German, and American entrees while sampling Wiedeker's award-winning wines. Celebrating 52 years as an Arkansas tradition, Wiedeker Wine Cellars and Weinkeller Restaurant open 7 days a week on Highway 186, 4 miles south of I-40 at Exit 41.
There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint Unlimited and enjoy a great wireless plan at an amazing price. For a limited time, make the switch to Sprint and get your third, fourth, and fifth lines free. That means 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line. That's a savings of more than $1,000 your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Hurry to a Sprint store, visit sprint.com/unlimited, or call 800-SPRINT-1. Make the switch to Sprint today and get your third, fourth, and fifth lines free. That's 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line from Sprint, a network built for unlimited. This is a limited time offer, so act now.
After 1/31/2020, pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines of unlimited basic with autopay. Savings compared to Verizon Go Unlimited and AT&T Unlimited and more for 5 lines. Features differ. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy. No matter the day of the week or time of the day, TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting live from the Cherokee Casino Mobile Studios.
He's going to the house. Rakeem Boyd for a touchdown.
Welcome to Arkansas Game Day.
Into the end zone. Arkansas wins. The Razorbacks win.
Presented by Randall Ford and Bud Light, an official title sponsor of the Razorbacks.
Arkansas Game Day back on the air, second hour here, and we appreciate you tuning in. I'm Phil Elson with Ty Richardson. Brenton's on the phones. It is Arkansas Game Day with 1 hour until the Learfield IMG pregame show. We will take you right up to that. They'll take you up to kickoff at 11 o'clock. Tommy Kraft and John Neighbors have you covered for Hog Reaction after another edition of the Southwest Classic. Live now on our affiliates. 95.3 in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs, ESPN 104.3 in Harrison, and ESPN 99.5 in Springdale. Lock them in if you're headed out towards the DFW Metroplex. Hope you've left.
Yeah, seriously.
It'll take you another 4 hours or so to get there. So if of course, you got to find your parking spot in Jerry World, which can be the toughest thing, and then walk yourself 1.5 miles before you get into your seat.
So we would always try and leave 3 hours before the game, and the place that I would stay at in Dallas about 30 minutes away, but because of traffic, because of the parking issues and stuff, it would take about an hour and a half to 2 to get out there. We'd tailgate, mess around for an hour, and then go into the game. But it is just it's a zoo out there. But I'm wondering, Phil, is this going to be the lowest attended Southwest Classic that we've had since its inception? Because you got to remember that at one point in time, both these teams were there was an expectation that they might both be good. But now with Arkansas and even Texas A&M being 2-2 and not being as good of a record as many would hope they would have, it's not exactly a marquee matchup. And I think that's why it's an 11 o'clock ESPN game than a 6 o'clock ESPN game.
Last year's attendance was 55,383, which you would have more people at either stadium on campus. Although judging by the numbers coming out of Razorback Stadium so far this season, maybe 55,383 would be a tall order. But that represents a little more than half of Kyle Field's capacity. That's one of the reasons why I don't think that this series will continue at Jerry World once the contract ends.
Well, Ross Bjork, who's the former old AD of Ole Miss, now the current AD of Texas A&M's on record saying that he wants the contract to end and he wants to go back to home and home. So it's on Arkansas and Jerry Jones to convince Texas A&M to continue the series and the conclusion of 2024. I, like you, don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Phil, we got a couple other score predictions here on our Facebook and YouTube live stream. Lance says Hogs play better but come up short 27-21. Cody says 45-35 Hogs. He's got the fingers crossed emoji.
35 points?
Yeah. He's saying 45-35 Hogs, so he thinks they're going to score 45.
He's picking Arkansas to score 45. Hey, Clemson gets to this is the Clemson Tigers, keep in mind. The defending national champions with an offense that doesn't stop. They scored just 24 points at home against Texas A&M. Yep. So the thought that that's why when we were doing our score predictions yesterday, Ty, and I said 35-17 Texas A&M, I'm thinking, does that means that I'm picking Arkansas to score 7 fewer points than the Clemson Tigers, which maybe I needed to scratch my head a little bit harder when making that decision.
And let's remind us real quick who's on Clemson, the number one quarterback, debatably number 2, what you think of Tua in the country. That's probably the consensus number 1 draft pick coming out of the next year class in that draft. Then you have, Amari Rodgers, Justin Ross, T. Higgins, running back. Why am I blanking on his name?
Etienne.
Yeah, Travis Etienne. Yeah, thank you for that. So, yeah, that's something to think about as well. A couple more predictions, Phil. Roger says, good morning, guys. My prediction is Texas A&M 44-24. It's close at halftime, but we collapse in the third quarter. Dylan says on our Facebook live stream, 42-24 A&M. It's a little different from yesterday, Phil. I feel like we had a lot of fans texting us in on the Cherokee Casino hotline that Arkansas was going to win the football game, which you and I were both kind of surprised at.
I was surprised at it. I don't think that it's a realistic prediction. It's more of a hopeful prediction than anything else. And it's two completely different ways to look at it. And I think it's you can even feel like it's more hopeful than realistic for Arkansas to even keep it close. But then, I mean, it's odd sometimes to just look at series histories. And 4 of the last 5 games between these two programs have finished with 7-point Texas A&M wins. So. Again, you could look at last year, a huge talent gap, but yet Arkansas still made it close. So I know talent's not always what goes into a final score. Motivation and just the way you play during the game is a major part of it. Our friend John Neighbors, co-host of the Morning Rush, picked Arkansas to lose by 7, 28-21. I got to be honest, I would be floored if Arkansas eclipses 20 points against this Texas A&M defense, just based upon how the Aggies have performed against maybe it's against Clemson is the thing that stands out. I wouldn't expect Arkansas is going to be able to run very well against Texas A&M, but they held Trevor Lawrence to 268 yards passing, and it just doesn't. I would be hard-pressed to think that Arkansas can come close to scoring as many points as the national champions did at their home stadium against the same team, and it was only 3 weeks ago. This is the same team. Not much has changed from the Aggies defensively from 3 weeks ago.
Phil, you got 18 years on me, and you've seen far more games, whether it's football, basketball, and baseball, but how many times have you seen a much stronger, more athletic, more talented team overlook a lesser team? How many times have you seen motivation play a giant factor in the outcome of a ball game when it shouldn't even be close? And this has really been, I know Arkansas hasn't won the games, but every single year they're outmanned, they're outgunned, and yet they play with Texas A&M. So you hope they can use that same regiment, that same philosophy, that same idea that, yes, we're underdogs in this game, but we still manage to make it competitive. But, again, I'm kind of with you. Maybe this is the what's the phrase? The straw that breaks the baker's back. I know I just butchered the crap.
It's
out
usually
of that.
a camel.
Yeah,
I think I don't know what would break a baker's back other than a cake that nobody wants to eat.
The camel's back. That's definitely it. I'm sorry that I just butchered the crap.
It's okay.
Out of
I mean, it's just after 7 o'clock. You're usually awake at this point of the day, though, right?
And not on Saturdays, man. Saturdays, I'm usually getting my snooze in. But when we got Arkansas football at 11 a.m., I'm up bright and early. So, it's weird.
Well,
it's weird how this game goes.
I think when it comes to all right, so you bring up the other sports perhaps. So baseball, anything can happen in baseball based upon a hot pitcher and one guy having a big game, couple of home runs. I mean, that makes a difference in a win and a loss, and talent level doesn't always dictate what happens in a baseball game. Basketball, let's say one player gets hot, fires up and makes 7 or 8 3-pointers and changes the direction of a ball game. It's so difficult for one player to make that difference in a football game.
Exactly. Yep.
When the quarterback is beholden to his offensive line being able to keep him upright, and when a running back is beholden to that same offensive line opening up routes for them to burst through. And this is the main issue right now offensively for Arkansas. Yes, I mean, look at Starkel's 5 interceptions last week. Look at a lot of inexperience at wide receiver and maybe a case of the drops here and there. But it's still unsettled on the offensive line more than anything. And, I mean, the entire left side of the offensive line, Colton Jackson at tackle, Austin Capps at guard, they haven't put in a full week of practice all of the regular season. I mean, you've had Jackson dealing with the ankle injury, and also he was in the concussion protocol. That's why he didn't play last week. Capps has had an ankle thing. So, I mean, this continues to be part of the story throughout. And here's the other thing, too. Even if the two of them were healthy, doesn't necessarily mean that Arkansas's offensive line is up to what they need to do against a Texas A&M defensive line that features some behemoths. This Justin Matabuki spends the entire game in the backfield occasionally. He's one of their defensive tackles. I mean, Ty Clary's been good at times this year. Ricky Stromberg looks like somebody you could maybe build an offensive line around. The jury's out on Dalton Wagner, and certainly the jury's out now on Myron Cunningham, that the coaching staff talked up as if he was the best offensive lineman coming out of junior college football. But then again, I mean, you talk to people who know, they say if you are depending on a junior college player to really, be one of your dudes for a season, then you've already got something wrong. And Cunningham hasn't been up to the scouting report of what we've read about him. So, right now, going into this game as well, and we don't know if Jackson will play or if Austin Capps will play. They'll be available. Maybe they'll get out there, but it looks like it's a game-time decision. If an offensive line is the foundation of an offense right now, Arkansas needs a little foundation repair.
And you hope that Nick Starkel doesn't suffer the same fate that Austin Allen did a couple years ago, where Texas A&M just pelted him down after down after down and just crushed his spirits and crushed him physically, because that dude just got destroyed in that football game. Phil, got a couple texts in here from Robbie, who's in Vegas currently. He's saying hope is not a plan or course for success, but that seems to be the direction of Arkansas football. He also says, Ty, really look at your dedication, because I'm up at 5 a.m. listening to Phil get all philosophical. Because remember, Vegas, it's a little before us right now, so you got to give him some credit, man. He's up bright and early just to listen to us hee-haw about Arkansas football today, Phil.
Robbie's been all over the place. I mean, he's been in Virginia. He's been in Denver. He called us yesterday on his drive out towards Vegas. He has been all over the place. Chris in Greenwood wants to know if we mentioned the San Jose State game last night. Well, I think, Chris, you weren't up with us about an hour and 5 minutes ago, because it's one of the first things we mentioned, the fact that I mean, here, the idea of momentum meaning anything in a positive way sometimes. San Jose State is what San Jose State is. A bad Mountain West Conference team that got run roughshod yesterday by Air Force. 382 yards on the ground from Air Force, and I know that they run the triple option, so it's a different approach than Arkansas would have brought to them. But the Hogs could not run the ball against the San Jose State defense. So what's to say that they can run the ball against a Texas A&M club that with the exception of getting run over by Auburn, has been pretty good against the run this year. Opponents averaging 111 yards on the ground against Texas A&M. Auburn ran for 193. So, I mean, you're not Auburn's run game, that's for sure. Don't have the offensive line for that, but boy, a tall task. And yes, we did mention San Jose State's 41-24 loss against Air Force, and it looked like Air Force was up 34-10 until over the first three quarters. So, and Josh Love did not look like Brett Favre like he did the week before. So, yeah, and if momentum doesn't work moving forward in a positive way, hopefully momentum doesn't work in a backwards way for Arkansas, because last week's loss is the kind of game that can really derail a season. Didn't it seem pretty obvious that there was a hangover last year after the loss against Colorado State on the road? It lasted the next week when Arkansas got run off the field by North Texas, and pretty much it lasted the rest of the season. Hopefully that San Jose State game does not decide the direction of the rest of the season, Ty, but you got to be honest, when you look at things and you look at what the schedule pretends now, it might have changed. It might have decided the direction this season was going in.
Yeah, to a certain degree, Phil, you got to put it out of your mind and at the same time use it as motivation. It's kind of a balancing act. So we'll see what happens in the game today. Want to remind everyone that John and Tommy will be at Randall Ford today for Arkansas Hog Reaction. John's going to be out there, so come by and see him. That'll get started about an hour and a half after the conclusion of the game today. Phil, we also got some stuff going on at Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Island Springs and rolling, man.
That's right. In fact, tonight, Foghat is there. Foghat is inside 7 at Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs. Tonight starting at 9. Time, maybe you'll get out there and listen to them do a little slow ride.
Dazed
now
and
that you know exactly
throwback,
who they
yeah.
are. That's exactly right. So I know you'll be very fired up about that. We are coming back after the break. We will get you set with other games across the SEC, update you on the final scores involving top 25 teams. And since we already mentioned San Jose State's loss, we won't have to get to that as well. You can get with us, 877-377-6963 for a call or a text on the Cherokee Casino hotline. And Arkansas Game Day continues after this break.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Sugat's here at Small Business Month, and Dell is celebrating innovators and job creators in a big way. Like up to 40% off business PCs big. Even a free 1 terabyte external hard drive with select purchases big. Call 877-BUY-DELL today to connect with a U.S.-based advisor. They are ready to help with tech solutions tailored to your business, like finding just the right Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, because your hard work is more than appreciated, it's admired. Call 877-BUY-DELL today.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
I think you love that car more than you love me.
Oh, how can you say that?
You hand wash it, you hand wax it, you listen to the same music.
Pure coincidence.
I just hope your insurance company feels the same way about it as you do.
They do. I'm one happy camper.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance. We have great agents who are nuts about cars. We're competitively priced, and our claims people are fast, fair, and friendly. To find an agent near you, go to shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
You're telling me there is a place?
3 places, 2 in Fort Smith, 1 in Van Buren.
That can do everything to my pickup?
And my car. Jody'sAuto.com can do everything from oil changes and maintenance to repairs. All repairs. They'll even tow it in and then fix it if your truck breaks down on the road. One stop everything.
What about tires?
All the best brands. These people really know tires and have free flat repair and free road hazard. Best prices on tires anywhere and price match guarantee.
Okay, so what's the catch? I bet they don't do financing, right?
Nope, wrong again. Jody'sAuto.com has the best credit card in the car care industry, and you can apply online.
Jody'sAuto.com voted best of the best for customer service, and a big part of that is convenience. One stop for everything. 3 oil change specials, tires, service, repair, maintenance, towing, and fleets. 3 locations since 1984. Convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Football season is here at Crabtree RV in Alma. We make tailgating with your favorite team very affordable, with discounts up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels and $10,000 off new travel trailers. Check out deals like the new Catalina with patio for as low as $249 a month. Browse the area's largest indoor showroom and explore the new 2020 styles from Grand Design and Coachman Freedom Express. That's only at Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Want to do something scary? Really scary? It's Magic Screams at Magic Springs,
the scare capital of Arkansas.
3 haunted attractions, including the new Carnival number 9 in 3D.
Ride wicked thrill rides in the dark.
Plus, fun for kids means family fun by day, fright by night. September 28th through November 3rd. Park opens at noon. Magic Screams at Magic Springs, the scare capital of Arkansas. Buy discount tickets online for big savings.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Phil Elson with Ty Richardson here on Arkansas Game Day, getting set for the Learfield IMG pregame show coming up in 40 minutes here on all of our affiliates. We're tuned in on ESPN 99.5 in Springdale, ESPN 104.3 in Harrison, ESPN 95.3 in the River Valley, and ESPN 96.3 Hot Springs. Don't forget, every Saturday in September, you can join Cherokee Casino and Hotel Roland for a $68,000 Vegas night. Join them starting at 6 p.m. for a chance to win $1,000 every half hour. Then you get a chance to win $10,000 at 10 p.m. Arkansas, Texas A&M, 11 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. Also, you've got the other big game in the SEC, Northern Illinois Vanderbilt, kicking off at the same time.
Riveting.
On the SEC Network. 1-2 Northern Illinois, 0-3 Vanderbilt. Ole Miss and Alabama are the CBS game at 2:30. We'll see if Bama continues to destroy Ole Miss, favored by 37.5 points on the final line. Florida's playing an FCS team, a 9th-ranked Gators taking on Towson in Gainesville. This potentially the best SEC game of the weekend, Mississippi State at Auburn. Auburn up to 7th in the coaches poll after their 28-20 win against the Aggies in College Station last week. They get a 3-1 Bulldogs team that comes off a home win against Kentucky. Auburn favored by 10. That's the ESPN game at 6 o'clock Central and 6:30 in the evening on the SEC Network. South Carolina coming off a road loss against Missouri, 1-3 record, but still looking for their first conference win, takes on Kentucky. Stoops' Wildcats 2-2, but an 0-2 SEC record. South Carolina is favored by 3. Top 25 games, 2 of them finals yesterday, and I already have a loss in our picks for the week, Ty, because Cal suffers their first loss of the year. That means there are no unbeaten teams in the Pac-12. Arizona State takes down the 15th-ranked Bears 24-17. Arizona State running back Eno Benjamin scored 3 touchdowns with 100 yards on the ground. And how about the final score from the Big Ten? Penn State, who beat Maryland by 63 points last year, shuts out the Terrapins 59-0. That sounds like an Alabama-Ole Miss final score, but it turns out it's the third year in a row that Penn State destroys Maryland by better than 30 points.
And I'm happy because I almost picked that game, Maryland plus the points, but for Mike Locksley, Scott, not even to get a single point in that football game is kind of puzzling because you look at where they started the season, that's an offense that was loaded and going. And for Penn State to hang 59 on them and not allow a point, props to James Franklin and his staff for doing what they did. But, man, that's there's going to be some talking in that locker room, the Maryland Terrapins, Phil, because you get spanked 59-0. I think it deserves a little butt chewing, if you know what I mean.
2 games that have a couple of the ranked teams squaring off against each other. They're both kicking off at the same time, 2:30 on NBC. 10th-ranked Notre Dame coming off a moral victory against the Georgia Bulldogs, hosting number 18 Virginia. Notre Dame favored by 10.5 in that ball game. And also 2:30 Central Time on Fox. It is the Southern California Trojans at 3-1, ranked 21st in the country, against number 17 Washington, who is also 3-1. Washington looking for their first conference win, of the Huskies favored by 10.5 in that ball game. We'd usually have plenty of other updates for scores around the top 25, but hey, it's 7:24 in the morning, so nobody's playing football right now.
It's 8:24 in Pittsburgh, right?
Right,
Okay,
right. I'm doing Arkansas Game Day from my old bedroom, the one that I grew up in until the age of 7. So I'm trying to be quiet-ish because you got the rest of the family around here. My parents are asleep. My sister brought her kids in from Oregon. The kids are asleep. I got lovely lady asleep upstairs, and yet I got less than 4 hours of sleep. We landed in Pittsburgh after midnight. I don't think I got to bed until about 1:30. So I hope I sound awake, because this coffee is the only thing keeping me awake, and your smiling personality and this outstanding game between Arkansas and Texas A&M that we've been talking about.
My bubbling face, man. I'm wondering how long it's going to take me before I start drinking coffee, Phil, because John has a cup of Joe every morning. You have a cup of Joe. I don't remember if Tommy tells me. I don't think Tommy has it. In fact, I'm pretty positive he doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong in assuming that, but it's very rare that I see the older you get, the just more apt you are to drink a cup of Joe. And hopefully, again, I'm trying to stay away from it, but
it'll put some hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Ty. It's okay. Go for it.
Well, maybe it'll make my voice a little raspier and a little less kiddish. So, and maybe I need to start smoking some cigs too to help along the process too.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw a couple cigars in your mouth at the same time, some vape,
couple stogies.
Yeah, everything you can possibly do to get that voice a little more gravelly. Maybe is the best way to put it. But hey, if things continue at Arkansas football the way they've been for a while now, don't worry. You'll be waking up at 6 in the morning to do this pregame show quite a lot. Because I don't know. I mean, we'll find out next week. What the kickoff time is for Arkansas, Kentucky. But to me, that looks like an 11 o'clock morning game too.
I think so. And I genuinely like doing this pregame, because then the rest of the day, because typically we rotate. Like if we do the pregame, John and Tommy do the postgame, and vice versa. We got the rest of the day to watch football and hang out a little bit. That's how I look at it. I don't know how you look at it. I know you're not the biggest morning person. I'm kind of accustomed to it now because I've been doing it over the year. I know 6 straight days for me is not my favorite, but I kind of look at it as once 8 o'clock rolls around, game day's on, and I'm coasting the rest of the day. So
we get an over-under on you on this. Nick Starkel, who has thrown for over 300 yards each of the past 2 games. Sure, he did throw 5 interceptions last week, but also 356 yards in the air and 3 touchdowns. Looking at Texas A&M defensively here, and the Aggies are allowing an average of 303 passing yards per game. A lot of that's been some, garbage yards coming from the Texas State and Lamar quarterbacks when they've been getting crushed and just have done nothing but throw the ball. Do you see Nick Starkel eclipsing 300 yards? Because honestly, I don't see Arkansas getting much success on the ground against Texas A&M. I think they're going to have to resort to Starkel slinging it around the yard. I think he'll get over 300 yards, but I think it'll come on something between 40 to 45 attempts. They threw 50 balls last week, and Arkansas ran, 35 times? So I know they're looking for some sort of balance, but I think that might be a little difficult to find against Texas A&M.
Well, the defense is better, and everyone knows that compared to last week. They're going against better athletes. It's the only reason that I would not predict him to throw 300 yards plus is the emotional factor, is the motivation factor. And that's really the only thing you can point to, because the talent's not there. The coaching difference probably isn't there. There's not really anything other that you can point to that says Nick Starkel's going to throw 300-plus yards other than the motivation that he's going to have and the emotions that would be riding high, that you would hope would ride high. And I don't even know if that would be enough for him to have a 300-plus yard game, because I think he's going to be on his backside a decent amount of times, Phil. We talked about Texas A&M's inability to run the football against both Auburn and Clemson. You think Arkansas is going to have success against the Aggies' defense run the football? Absolutely not. So what does that mean? That means they're going to know that passing is going to come. They're going to be in tough passing situations, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And Nick Starkel is going to be forced to make some plays with dudes in his face. And I'm not saying he won't make one every once in a while, but you know as well as I do, it's a lot harder to quarterback a football team when you're on your butt most of the time, whether you're getting hit and sacked or you're just getting hit after you make the throw, than it is when you have a clean pocket and a running game that's going. I don't see that running game happening today. Therefore, I don't see Nick Starkel having a successful day through the air, and that means I don't think he gets 300-plus yards, Phil.
29 tackles for a loss for the Texas A&M defense. That's with just 6 sacks. So they're stopping running backs or quarterbacks on designed runs 23 times behind the line of scrimmage. This is going to be a tough one for Arkansas later on today. Again, we're taking you up to the IMG Learfield pregame show in about 30 minutes here on our ESPN Arkansas and ESPN Northwest Arkansas affiliates. Kickoff just after 11 o'clock on ESPN. The Southwest Classic at AT&T Stadium, Arkansas versus Texas A&M. Brought to you by Cherokee Casino and Hotel. Every Saturday this month, you'll join Cherokee Casino and Hotel Rollin' for $68,000 Vegas nights. Join them starting at 6 for a chance to win $1,000 every 30 minutes and a chance to win $10,000 at 10 p.m. That's the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963 for a call or a text. And Arkansas Game Day continues after this break.
There's no other pregame show that gets you more ready for the game. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
It's the place there's no place else like. Home. It's the circle of chairs around your fire pit, where all the do you remembers get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs in the skillet, crackling along with the laughter. It's the picture in the hall of your great-grandfather, whose mustache he willed to your son.
At Shelter Insurance, we don't just insure your home, we insure all the memories that live inside it. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith or Jim Malum in Charleston about Shelter's home insurance.
There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint Unlimited and enjoy a great wireless plan at an amazing price. For a limited time, make the switch to Sprint and get your 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines free. That means 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line. That's a savings of more than $1,000 your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Hurry to a Sprint store, visit sprint.com/unlimited, or call 800-SPRINT-1. Make the switch to Sprint today and get your 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines free. That's 5 lines of unlimited for just $20 per month per line from Sprint, a network built for unlimited. This is a limited time offer, so act now.
After 1/31/2020, pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines of unlimited basic with autopay. Savings compared to Verizon Go Unlimited and AT&T Unlimited and more for 5 lines. Features differ. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
Oh, hey. Do you know what goes great with your favorite tunes? Cold beer from Sody's Wine and Spirits. Did you know that at Sody's you can choose from over 600 single bottles of craft beer in their Pick 6 section to make your own 6-pack? And for the freshest beer, be sure to pick up a growler. Order online at mysodys.com and pick up in the drive-thru. Or download the new Sody's app and save 10% on your first order. For the full Sody's experience, go to I-540 in Phoenix and Fort Smith.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy. No matter the day of the week or time of the day, TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Welcome back inside our studios for Arkansas Game Day, brought to you by Cherokee Casino and Hotel, Roland and West Siloam Springs, Bud Light, and Randall Ford. Phil Elson here with Ty Richardson. Ty, you know what's been disappointing for the first 4 weeks of this football season?
Arkansas football team?
Well, aside from that, I don't want to beat a dead Razorback too much. The SEC officiating Twitter feed. We were so excited about this thing when they announced it at SEC Media Days back in July. Yet it has only put out an average of like 10.5 tweets per week, which you count 14 teams in the league. So that should be at least 7 games a week, theoretically. There should be more than the 48 tweets that they've put out. And it's been 3 days since they last had one out. I'm assuming there'll be a bunch of them at some point today, but it hasn't been the end-all, be-all of SEC Twitter feeds that I thought it would be. Maybe that's because I'm not looking at the mentions, because I'm sure the mentions for SEC officiating have been worth the price of admission.
Oh, my gosh. What did we talk about our whole conspiracy theory before the season? It was the fact that Greg Sankey and his staff decided, hey, we're tired of getting pelted with this Twitter barrage of takes and hatred and venom and just spewing just a disgusting amount of things directed towards their Twitter feed. Let's make an account where we can direct all that hatred. And so that, and again, that's not the 100% the full reason. It was just kind of a formula and an idea that Phil and I concocted once this came out. And if you look at those mentions, Phil, they're not very nice. The fans are typically angry at a number of different calls that day. I don't know if there's been, let's see, let's think about it. Through 4 weeks of football, we're in week 5 of the college football season. There's the Ole Miss Cal incident at the 4th and goal thing, or the 3rd and goal thing.
3rd and goal that then turned into 4th and goal at the half-yard line, and a review that probably should have come. I still think that the Ole Miss receiver didn't have the ball in the end zone, but it should have been reviewed.
I agree with you on that. There was a great angle from an Ole Miss media member down there that had the perfect goal line situation. You could tell that the ball was clearly not across. But outside of that, I'm trying to think if there's an incident or a missed call or a viral reaction from the fan base angry about something, and that's really the only one that comes to mind, SEC related. Now, there might be one I'm missing. Is there one that you can think of through 4 weeks of the college football season, entering week 5, that we're missing out on to this point?
There've been a couple. It's been the Pac-12 officiating crews that have been under fire. I think it was at the end of the, Arizona State, Michigan State game in East Lansing, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Maybe that's why, the SEC office didn't chime in about the Ole Miss Cal situation, because it wasn't their officiating crew. It was Pac-12. And I think it's in a lot of situations because the SEC is ahead of most, if not all, the other leagues as far as the technology available to them and just the offices that they've got. Remember, I was inside the review office in Birmingham when Arkansas baseball was in Birmingham for the league baseball tournament. So you got to look at that thing. I don't think there's another league that's got a setup like that yet. I think that they're on the way towards that, but the SEC ends up doing reviews for games that aren't always officiated by SEC officials. So you don't have to worry about that this time around. This is all SEC. It'll all be reviewed in the Birmingham offices. And so you mentioned Twitter. We get into Twitter a little bit on our show and a little bit on here. And there are battling quotes coming from 2 players on Arkansas. So you just kind of wonder what they mean with this. Jarquez McClellan, quoted in Tom Murphy's preview story in the Democrat Gazette this morning, quoted says, "As a team, we don't worry about social media or point spreads." But yet earlier this week, Ty Clary tweeted out, to fans that were tweeting to him, even some nasty comments. And I would never promote to fans that, yes, you need to be tweeting to college athletes, but I think that got to Clary a little bit, and I think that got to some of the other players on the team. It was just, and I think you'd like to believe what Jarquez is saying, that we don't pay attention to social media, but they do. They do. Otherwise, why do you have it? They each have their own Twitter account, Instagram feeds, Facebook pages, and they're on these things all the time. I mean, what was the first thing that came out from Nick Starkel after the loss last week to the Spartans? He goes on Instagram and announces to the world that he's torn up and thrown away the Justin Bieber T-shirt. And then finally, I don't think Bieber ever acknowledged him until he decided to throw out his T-shirt in a public way. So, and then he acknowledged him on Instagram. These kids pay attention to their social media feeds. They see what you're saying about them. They see what's being written about them. Maybe they don't pay attention to point spreads, but it's a simple app right there. We look at it all the time, our live odds app. All you got to do is open it up and take a look. They're paying attention. I don't really believe what Jarquez was saying.
And I agree with you 100%, regardless of, now there are some players, there are some coaches that might pay less attention than others, like a Lane Kiffin, who seems like he's on there 24/7. Nick Starkel, it seems like he's pretty into social media. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but what a lot of times happens with that, when fans see that you're on social media a considerable amount of time, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, and the program starts to suffer, not because of that, but because of a number of different things, then they attack you for it on social media. And those that are less inclined to get on social media feel it's not as big of a deal to them. But again, you hear things like it's not like that this just doesn't happen. Like even kids on campus, they know who the football players are. They give them looks. They probably say a thing or two. Like I was on campus during a 3-9 football team, and I remember it wasn't exactly the most camaraderie when other students would associate with football players. Now, when they started picking it up a little bit, it got a little better. That's typically what happens across any campus in college football or college basketball or college baseball. When the team's better, you want to be associated with the football team. That's just how it works. But that wasn't the case, and it hasn't been the case for quite some time. But it's just about blocking that out. And again, that's hard to do, not only for the players, but for coaches. Because, Phil, you even mentioned this to me a little while ago, sometime earlier this week. Even though you don't have to be on Twitter, you're constantly on it. Now, I look at my daily usage on social media and stuff. I'm on it. Now, a lot of times I'm working, I'm updating stuff on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our Instagram, and stuff like that. But it's hard in this day and age when it's such a valuable tool to use, not only for news and information, but to get your content out there. You just see stuff, man. But for players and coaches, you just do your best to stay off it unless you're trying to promote something. And again, even when you get back on, it's hard to get off, Phil.
B.E. from Clarksville says he hates that Starkle got away from Bieber. You know, it's funny, too, you know, whatever motivates you, whatever gets you ready to feel like you're ready to play. You know, it's like Crash Davis, and you know I can always go to Bull Durham for nuggets of wisdom. It's like Crash Davis told Nuke, if you're playing well because you're wearing women's underwear, then you are. You know, so, I mean, if he felt he was playing well or it was a thing he needed to do because of Justin Bieber, it's just there was too much made of it. And this speaks to, I think, one of the things that you had an issue with after the fourth quarter against Colorado State, in which the following week Starkle is, and maybe we were guilty of it at times, treating it like, you know, oh, the savior is here. You finally have the quarterback that you need to get to maybe the middle of the pack. And it was a shot of students in the student section last week wearing Bieber T-shirts. There were a couple of rows of these students that had on the black T-shirt with the Bieber gray photo and his head, you know, his hair doing his thing, and it's just thinking, wow, I mean, this guy just made his first start. He just made his first start. Yes, he looked good, he played well, but it's Colorado State. This is not a world-beating program.
It's who?
It was Colorado State, exactly. It was not a world-beating program.
What conference do they play in?
They play in the Mountain West,
Okay.
and then you play a team that's worse in the Mountain West the very next week. And Starkle, you know, I mean, he had the kind of game that if he threw that T-shirt out, maybe the rest of the kids that were at the stadium wearing those T-shirts threw him out as well.
And it's one of those things where we're to blame as media members. It's not just, I'm not talking about directly Phil and I, but so many other Arkansas media members that were like, Arkansas's finally got a quarterback. Fans are also to blame, Phil. We don't bring that up enough, but all of a sudden you got, like you mentioned, students in the section wearing Bieber shirts, all these fans comparing him to a guy that I'm not even going to mention because you know how ticked off I get when people compare him to that guy.
But his initials are RM.
Yeah, correct. So you could put a blame on people when you overhype someone, as that happened with Nick, and it's happened with some of these freshmen that have come in. It hurts their overall value, and it hurts their decision making and a lot of other things during the season because they think they're better than they actually are, and you get a little cocky, regardless if you deserve to be or not. Arkansas football, there's not a single player on that team that deserves to be cocky. Maybe you could say Rakeem Boyd and Scooter Harris. That's it, maybe. Because those are the only, I'd say the only guys, maybe Cam Kroll, but I don't know, man. There's no reason this team to be cocky or confident right now. You show up in the A&M game, maybe that'll change a little bit.
All right, we'll come back to close up shop here on Arkansas Game Day, brought to you today by our friends at Cherokee Casino and Hotel. Foghat is there tonight at 7 inside Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs. Foghat's there tonight at 9 p.m., so you get to watch Arkansas, Texas A&M, listen to Tommy and John on Hog Reaction, then get over to Cherokee Casino Hotel, West Siloam Springs to watch Foghat at 9. But we come back to wrap up Arkansas Game Day right after this break.
The pregame show that gets you hyped. This is Arkansas Game Day.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha. Night. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? how much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Uber has been doing a ton of great things this last year, and Uber Rewards is going to make you love Uber even more. With Uber Rewards, you'll get rewarded for things you're already doing. Every eligible dollar you spend on rides and Uber Eats earns you points that unlock amazing benefits, like Uber Cash, complimentary surprise upgrades, flexible cancellations, and so much more. Your life is about to get more rewarding thanks to Uber. Get all the info and terms at uber.com/rewards. That's uber.com/rewards.
This is Arkansas Game Day.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your insurance agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when the bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Call Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith, 484-9888, or in Van Buren, 474-9888, and online at kohlergreen.com.
Hi, I'm Hector here from La Huertas. We like everything hot. La Huertas, we're fresh, authentic Mexican food served every day. La Huertas has 4 locations in the Fort Smith area with daily happy hours and a margarita night. Check it out. We're open 7 days a week with draft beer specials. Monday and Thursday night football. We are Fort Smith Authentic Mexican Restaurant. Yes, sir, we are. Fresh homemade flour tortillas. La Huertas at Rogers and Garrison location. Eat until you hurt. In Fort Smith, La Huertas.
Hey hunters, fall hunting seasons are drawing near, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to make this year one to remember. Stop by and check out the bows, guns, stands, blinds, feeders, clothing, footwear, cameras, and so much more. Hurry in and start getting ready for fall at Jelco Outdoors, your premier locally owned outdoor store in the River Valley. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Unlimited personal group training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Personal group training is a great way to create accountability for your fitness while improving mobility, endurance, and overall wellness. Reach your fitness goals faster with personal group training. Only $60 a month. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. These workouts are high intensity and get results in under an hour. Only $60 a month. Call for class schedules and details. 479-926-0193. Results happen here at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you. Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beer, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Our special Razorback pregame coverage is presented by Randall Ford and by Bud Light.
Getting you set for kickoff here on ESPN Arkansas and all our affiliates. Make sure you lock them in, not just for this show, but also for the Learfield IMG pregame, for the play-by-play, for Hog Reaction. You can get all of it on 99.5 ESPN Northwest Arkansas, also 104.3 ESPN in Harrison, ESPN 95.3 in the River Valley, and ESPN 96.3 in Hot Springs. Full day of programming for Arkansas football with kickoff at 11 o'clock. And we're about 9 minutes away from the Learfield IMG pregame show, so you'll have Scott Inman, Rick Schaefer, and the rest of the crew taking you for the next few hours up until kickoff time, when Chuck Barrett and Quinn Grovey will give you the play-by-play and the color analysis. Phil Elson here with Ty Richardson. Ty, one guy we hadn't mentioned that is supposed to return to action today, Traylon Burks. Outstanding freshman wide receiver out of Warren. So it looks like Arkansas should have all of their quote-unquote playmakers at the skill positions. Whether or not they get the opportunity to put that skill on display, if there's time for Nick Starkel to throw, that is going to be a whole other ball of wax. But it does look like, one of the better players for this team that was not on the field last week, and Traylon Burks is back and should be able to return punts as well.
And just when you get Burks back, you lose Davion Warren out for concussion protocol. He will not be playing in this game today, so you might lose a little bit of gusto from special teams from him and on those jet sweeps and stuff. But, man, you'd love a special teams, to quote from Pat McAfee, tutter today from Arkansas. love using that phrase that Pat McAfee coined on his first Thursday Night Football broadcast, because Traylon Burks, man, he's had a few punt returns this season. I think he's averaging a little over 7 yards per punt return, which isn't like over the top Dennis Johnson, Joe Adams like, but it's pretty good, and so you hope maybe he can break one. I'm not talking about necessarily a touchdown, but a 30, 40-yard punt return. I mean, that would really rejuvenate the Arkansas special teams and hopefully just send a shot up the rest of the Arkansas football team.
I love the term tutter. And then I forget who the receiver is for the Giants, New York Giants, but he'd put up, I think, the ball that Daniel Jones threw for his first career NFL touchdown, and had put up a tweet calling it a TUDS, first career TUDS. So this is brand new, word that I'd never heard before. Our guy McAfee coined it, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. But tutter, TUDS, it's all coming up at the same time. Does that make a field goal a thug? I don't think that works. I think it works with touchdowns, but not field goals.
Dangerous territory when we start getting close with the F words, Phil. So,
it really would. But you know me, I'll take it right up to the edge. I won't dive over.
You love being on that line, don't you, buddy?
Well, I love being on this show with you. It's Arkansas Game Day, brought to you by our friends at Cherokee Casino Hotel, Roland West Siloam Springs. Thanks to Bud Light and Randall Ford for providing their sponsorship as well. Don't forget that Tommy Kraft and John Neighbors have you covered for Hog Reaction once the game is over and the IMG postgame show is done. So stay tuned for Texas A&M Arkansas pregame coming up after this.
You could be one roll away from $1 million. Head to Cherokee Casino and Hotel West Siloam Springs to play $1 million High Roller.